Hi guys, welcome back to another Bloodbath rule set tutorial. This one is for the Soviet Union and Lend-Lease. Lend-Lease in the rulebook is on page 19 or 47 of the card deck. Obviously the book has a little more detail by showing you the Lend-Lease icons represented here in figure 4. There are two of these on the map, one of which is in C-Zone 126 for the Europe side, and then there is another one in C-Zone 4 for the Pacific side. I know there was more routing that they did, such as down here, but we don't, for gameplay purposes, we do not have that in play. We only have the Arctic route, the northern route, or was that the Arctic? I don't remember, and then the Pacific. I think that actually was the Arctic route. I don't remember. Either way, that is not important. What important is, that's the only two we're using. So, basically, once at war with Europe, the Soviet Union has the opportunity to collect free stuff, okay? And that's all based on a die roll at the collect income phase of Russia's turn. Now, the things that are available are artillery, mechanized infantry, a tank, destroyer, fighter, and to represent aid such as clothing and food and whatnot, 3 IPCs, 5 IPCs, and 7 IPCs. You can see they kind of go up from, a higher value. You start, the values go up. Same thing with the money. The values go up. That is why, it's unpredictable. You can't know ahead of time pretty much what you're going to get. You don't know what you get until you get. And so they are, each side can get different things. Each side can't get the same thing. The Pacific route was mainly used for aid, like I said, for clothing, for food, and whatnot. They really didn't get, tanks and planes in that direction. Okay, most of that stuff, was on this side or this side. But like I said, for gameplay, we are not using this. We are only using that. So on the card here, there is a chart. 1 through 6 also on the rule book, but like I said, for the card, we'll just use the card for now because it takes up less space on the map here. So you, at the end of your turn, to collect income, you will want to roll a dice. Now this is all provided the C zones are not hostile. We will get over that in a second. We're going to go over just the dice roll right now. So you roll a dice. You just rolled a 5. You check the card here. The 5 says fighter. Placed in Archangel, or collect 7 IPCs for Pacific aid. Okay, so now why would you pick 7 IPCs over a fighter? Well, sometimes you might. They might be knocking on your door right here, and you'd rather have 2 more guys to put here than a fighter over there. Okay, so anyways, that's how that works. It's very simple. It's very simple. Now, what gets not complicated, but what gets the trickery a little bit is the Lend-Lease icons on the map. Okay, so let's just go over here. Now for the Europe side, if C-Zone 126 is hostile, just represents, put a sub over here just for the sake of viewing. If that is hostile, no supplies can be awarded on this side of the map. Okay, you can't roll for it. I mean, you can still roll provided there's nothing over here. But that means if you want anything on this turn, it has to go on this side of the map. Okay, if that's hostile, and that is not, you roll a dice still on your turn. You roll the dice, you just got a 5 again. Okay, well, you cannot pick the fighter because the fighter has to go an Archangel. So you are forced to take 7 IPCs for Pacific aid, because you don't have the option of Europe aid because it is hostile. Okay. Now, Same thing on this side. If C zone 4 becomes hostile, you cannot roll for Pacific aid. Okay, if both are hostile, you can't roll at all. Okay, that's the way the Axis get rid of your Lend-Lease, is to basically put a ship there and block you. Okay. Now, even though this is, this is kind of a little, it's not confusing. It's just this is gameplay. Okay, this is for gameplay. Even though the port of entry is here, okay, this does not block your Lend-Lease roll. Even though the port of entry is in 127, this does not block your Lend-Lease roll. Okay, I can't. Wouldn't be very for gameplay. I can't have a Lend-Lease here and a Lend-Lease here and a Lend-Lease here and expect that all those need to be covered. Okay, it's just here. Okay, and same thing over here. It's here. Now, why is it not here? Well, because it's made to be inconvenient for the Axis. Okay, if this was here, if this Lend-Lease icon was here, well, putting a ship there isn't inconvenient for the Axis. Okay, because why? Because I can still go 1, 2. I can still go 1, 2. I can still go 1, 2. I can still cover a lot of spaces if I need to get him anywhere. This is inconvenient. Okay, where am I going to go? 1, 2. I can't do anything if he's over there. Okay, that's why. It needs to be. I wanted Lend-Lease to block Lend-Lease. I wanted it to be inconvenient for the Axis, not be something super simple. Well, I just park right here, and if I ever need him, I'm pretty much in range to do anything I want still that I would do anyways. Okay, this is for the inconvenience. Same thing on this side. Okay, the Lend-Lease used to be right here, but that's not inconvenient for the Axis player. I can still go 1, 2, hit over here. I can still go 1, 2. I'm in range to still do a lot of things where this is not inconvenient. This, on the other hand, gets a little inconvenient because if there's something going on over here, I can't even retaliate with him because he's too far away. So that is why they are in those locations. Okay. So I know maybe it makes more sense if this was here, but like I said, it's set up to be inconvenient for the Axis player. Okay, not just park a ship where you might want to park a ship anyways. Okay. So now let's get into. Got to get into the sub again. Now, anything that can block a convoy can block a Lend-Lease. Okay, if the sea zone is hostile, it's hostile. And the same thing about convoy. Submerged submarines cannot convoy. Well, submerged submarines also cannot do Lend-Lease. So that scenario here, if that sub is submerged, let's just go back into Soviet Union starts with a sub. So let's just say Germany wanted to be funny and put this sub here, and you come in here, and then that German player says, oh, I submerge because they don't want to roll a 1. That's totally fine. They can submerge. But that does not block your Lend-Lease now. Okay. Submerged submarines in the BBR means that submarine is out of play, period. Okay, if you run away from battle because you submerged, well, you can't convoy. You can't take away Lend-Lease because you left. Okay, you left, so you can't be doing anything. You will stay submerged until the repair units phase on your return, which then you can turn it back upright and do whatever you want to do or whatever. But for Lend-Lease, doesn't do anything because that is not a hostile sea zone. And I think, did I go over? I think that's pretty much it. It's just the card here has the stipulations. Okay, let's go over them really quick. One more thing. Obviously, if the territory is Axis controlled, get the thing here. If Amur becomes Japanese controlled, there's no reason to roll because you can't place anything. And same thing on this side. Okay, if Archangel becomes axis controlled, there is no rolling. Okay, so there is basically 4 ways to get rid of Lend-Lease for the Allies. For the Europe side, you have Season 126, or take Archangel. And then you have over here, take Emir, or make C-Zone 4 hostile. Okay, those are the ways to negate the Lend-Lease for the Soviet Union. But remember, even if one side is hostile and the other one is not, that means all aid has to go on that side. So let's go back to the card here. If you roll a 1, an artillery can be placed in both sides. Okay, it can be placed here, and it could also be placed here, obviously provided it is not taken. Okay, that's if you roll a 1. If you roll a 2, you have the choice to put an Archangel or a Emir. And again, this is provided that it is not hostile, the C-Zone is not hostile, and a territory is not taken. Okay, in this scenario again, I can't put anything here because it is hostile. But I'm just going over what the options are. If you roll a 3, it is a tank. Has to be played in Archangel. Has to be placed there. Okay, tanks did not come in on that route. Has to be placed here. So that means if you rolled that 3, okay, and this is hostile, you cannot place that tank there. You have to do the secondary, provided this is up there. You have to take the secondary measure, which is collect 3 IPCs for Pacific aid. There's no choice. Okay? There's only one route open. You have to take the awards associated with that route. And the next is a destroyer. Destroyer has to be placed in C-Zone 127. It can only be placed in 127 if Archangel is in Russia's hands, okay, or allies, I guess. I mean, actually no, because if it's Moscow Falls, there is no Lend-Lease. So anyways, has to be controlled there. Now, let's go to number 5. Would be a fighter. Has to be placed in Archangel, okay. And then 6, if you roll a 6, the Soviet player chooses what you want. Again, provided it is open. So if everything's open, everything is clear. You roll the dice, you got a 6, bam. You get to pick. Do I want any? You can have anything you want. Now, why would you pick a lower item? Well, it's simple. You might want an extra artillery here because you got a bunch of guys and you're ready to move in. Okay, remember, because you start with all these guys. Maybe you want artillery here. Maybe you want a maybe you need a tank because you had heavy tanks. Okay, or I'm sorry, a tank. Maybe this is getting ready to fall, and you rather just have the 7 IEPC for the Pacific aid, so you can put more crap here. It's your call. It's your call. Just because it's the most expensive item doesn't mean it's the best item for your scenario. Artillery over here is great. Okay. Also, a mech over here is great too, because you can start running around a little bit, especially if this got activated and you have these Russian cavalry here. So it all depends. Like I said, the most expensive item, which is the fighter, isn't always necessarily the best one for your campaign. So, I think we have covered Lend-Lease. Like I said, it's not complicated. There is quite a bit of rules to it, but it's, like I said, it's not complicated. It's basically, are you hostile? No. Roll the dice. Okay. Are you hostile? Yes. Don't roll the dice. Okay. When I say hostile, I mean both sides. If both sides are hostile, there is no rolling. Okay. So there's nothing to even think about. If half the side is hostile, well, you roll a dice and you have to place it on the opposite side. Whatever, you have to replace it on the non-hostile side. So, like I said, it's not complicated. It's just there's a lot of rules. It is not complicated. Okay, everything's on the card. The only thing I think that's not on the card is about the submarine and the picture of the Lend-Lease. Okay, that's all on the rule book, page 19. All right, well, that was a long video for something so simple. So we will talk to you guys soon for something else. Bye-bye.